Okay, good morning. This week's piece is Tolling Bell on page 110. So the first thing I want to point out is we want to make sure that the student is old enough and ready to understand these complicated concepts, because this piece has a lot of things that might be super confusing for a younger student who's not quite ready for it. For example, on measure 11, there's an E sharp, which is a white key, which looks like an F, but it's an E sharp. And I remember when I first learned that sharps or flats are not always on the black key, and I was like mind blown. My world was flipped upside down. So we just want to make sure that the student is ready for that and understand the concepts of sharps and flats. The next thing is on the last measure, all of the notes are in the bass clef, but just because all of the notes are in the bass clef doesn't mean that the left hand plays all of the notes. The right hand can help. Yeah. And then the next thing is this piece has a lot of fingering where there's a thumb on the black key, which again, we want to make sure that the student is ready for this, because if we introduce it too early, it risks the habit of the student wanting to play black keys with their thumb all the time. And obviously there are situations where thumb on the black key is necessary, but we just don't want to create a bad habit where the student always wants to play their thumb on the black key when there's a better alternative. The next thing is there is lots of ledger line notes, and that's obviously a more complicated notes. And so just make sure that the student is ready for that. And then the last thing before I play is we want to make sure that the student is ready to have great hand independence, if that's the right term for it. I don't really know the right term for it, but being able to think about more than one thing at once, because while I'm playing my right hand, my left hand is preparing, and while I'm playing my left hand, my right hand is preparing, and then my left hand is preparing. So it's just like preparation. So while my left hand is playing, and even though my right hand has a rest, it's still doing something, preparing to play next. I feel like a lot of little students, younger students, they play their left hand, and then they finish playing their right hand, and then now their attention is on their right hand, and it's hard for them to do more than one thing. And so it's just important to make sure that the student is old enough to be able to understand that. And yeah, I'll go ahead and play now.